So in a previous class, we were discussing about some applications of microbes in engineering disciplines, but I gave two different examples as biofilters for the environmental engineer or civil engineer, where a self-healing concrete was given as an example. So in forthcoming classes too, I'll be giving some more examples about application for other disciplines of engineering domain also. So uh, see that in the forthcoming course class. Okay. Now one more example I'll give about whatever till now we have studied. Like we saw that for a biological biology, when you say is when there's four different biomolecules, that is a nucleic acid, carbopolysaccharide, proteins and lipids, they come together and one individual lipid bimembrane will be formed and the whole cell becomes a machinery. So always you can think of the experiment that I initially told about. That is how in a conical flask they put the salt, sugar, and question mark is the number of cells, and the cells can take those chemicals or anything and keep on proliferating and multiplying and increasing in number. So this is called bio, but this biological cell requires the four biomolecules together, and the kind of machinery it does is to reiterate again, it is a dehydration and hydrolysis reaction, making and breaking up a reaction. That is what is going on. Now, how engineers can exploit this particular thing for sensing anything. Uh, Very importantly, the engineer's role is initially I told that robustness, whatever you design, it should be very not be very fragile. It should be very strong in terms of any fluctuation of environment or stresses. And the second thing required is innovation or the adaptability. You keep on adapting. Okay. One more thing which I forgot to mention for engineers is whatever they design, you design something, you will have to sense it every time whether the function is going on in a proper fashion. Okay, any kind of devices or designs or anything, whatever you do, say you design and launch a product like say a mobile phone. So whether the mobile phone is working accordingly, that sensing has to take place every now and then. For example, a Google car where driverless car is going on, when there is no driver, you will have to sense and tell whether brakes are proper, whether it is performing its task properly, whether it knows there are people outside or crowd is there, it has stopped. Like this, any kind of devices or designs you take any engineering product, that has to be properly verified time to time. Even once you launch a product and the product is in the market, you some consumer buys that product, you cannot say that your task is over. Task is still the product viability is there, till there also engineers has to function. Okay, for that one very important thing is apart from robustness, innovation, the keeping up by early sensing the dangers if anything arises in that particular product or anything is a very important task for engineers. They will have to sense whether everything is functioning properly and they will have to set right if there is some malfunction. For that, I gave one example, very good example in the previous class about the self-healing concrete, where, for example, it will, if there are cracks, by itself it will heal. Okay, similar way, uh, if a crack is there, that crack has to be sensed first. Okay, after sensing over there, what was the sensing is the engineer will not come to know, but the organism over there will come to know that the aeration and the water is available, and thus it will become the vegetative cell. But usually, some in some processes the engineer has to know, or it may be nowadays robotics, where artificial intelligence is available. The particular product itself will sense and it will know whether everything is correct or no. For example, nowadays four-wheelers, when you take, when the battery is over, it will stop the vehicle, and the vehicle steering also will get stopped and nothing moves ahead until you replace a new battery. And if some problem also occurs, like brake fail or anything, before and all people never used to know. Now the system itself will come to know about it. It will sense and it will stop the whole system into effective running. Okay, until we see where it is. For example, uh, if we as an individual, a human, say we are running somewhere and we fall down by chance and we get a wound, immediate thing would be pain. Small children may cry, and if older individuals also, if too much of pain and they cannot tolerate, they will also cry. Or we do something and we know that in foot somewhere there is a wound. Imagine we don't have the pain sensor which can sense something happened, a wound happened, and we are not facing the pain. Even if there is a wound, we keep on running. That will happen. Okay. For example, uh, if there is no wound, even if your leg is in fire, you will not bother about it, because there is no pain at all. Only until you see something it is useful, you will keep it up. If there is no pain, nothing will do for that. And even if there is some internal infection or anything and we don't know, no pain, no symptom is there, then we'll stay happily. And that virus, for example, the coronavirus, if there is some infection and we have fever and all that symptoms of coronavirus, COVID symptoms, if it is not present, then what will happen? A very individual will be normal and it will keep on multiplying and it will lead to death of the individual. So pain is very essential. It's acting as a sensor. So for engineers also, whatever any kind of product you design, a sensor is very important to sense whether the functioning is running properly of that. In that sensor, early sensing is also very important, and sensing something is very important whether properly everything is functioning. Okay. So for that, here in biology, you can use bio as a sensor to sense something. Biological products like even those four biomolecules could be there, the protein as enzymes could be there, or the microorganisms by itself, the life can also be used, which I'll be telling you with some examples in the forthcoming slides. But nevertheless, the to sense something, you can also use bio in that. Okay, like protein, enzymes, or microorganisms, or anything can be used. That is what I'll be telling over here. Biosensor, first, when you see the definition of biosensor, which was given by IUPAC. IUPAC, we know, the International Union is very important. That gives a definition. It was a long definition. I made it into three different parts so that we understand properly what they are doing. So it was the way back in 96, according to the IUPAC definition, a biosensor is a self-contained integrated device. Is one thing. It's all a continuous sentence, but I've divided them into three so that we understand properly. Okay, it is a device. Second thing, what is it? It is capable of providing specific quantitative or semi-quantitative analytical information. So when it is kept, the device is kept in a solution or anything, in that solution, whatever the sunlight we are analyzing, it will give some quantitative or semi-quantitative or qualitative result, whether presence or absence. If presence, how much quantity is present. Say a glucose is there in the solution. When you keep the device, it will say what is the concentration of the glucose. Or if it is only qualitative, presence, absence of the glucose. Say in water, glucose is not present in blood, there is glucose presence. Okay, this kind of result will be given. And third one, a third fragment of the sentences using a biological recognition element. So here comes a sensor is the first two, then comes the bio in that. What is recognizing the glucose if it is there in solution is a biological thing element. Okay, using a biological element or any of the four different biomolecules also which I told, when they are there, or you use the microbial cell itself that is recognizing, then it is called as a biosensor. For this was a little more complex, so it was a single sentence itself. A biosensor is a self-contained integrated device. It is capable of providing a specific quantitative or semi-quantitative analytical information using a biological recognition element, which is in direct spatial contact with a transduction element. This was the IUPAC definition for this. I made it three different fragments for your understanding. Okay, but recent paper just 5 years back, it gave a more simplistic kind of definition that says the biosensor is a device. Same earlier also in IUPAC, it was a device that measures biological or chemical reactions. So any biological or it might be chemical reactions by generating signals proportional to the concentration, so quantitative signal of sunlight in the reaction. One thing here it is it measures. What measures? It was not very clear. It is a biological or the biological cell or biomolecules which will be there. Okay, this is the basic definition of a biosensor. So why I'm telling all this is so that engineers can find application later on in your career also. You may require a biosensor for detecting something. Okay, so what are the components of this biosensor? If you see, they are having five different components. One is the analyte, what you need to sense, and you need to, for example, I told in that example the glucose. So glucose will be the analyte. Say a diabetic patient is there, you want to sense the glucose in that patient. So glucose can be the analyte. Say some mechanical engineer, maybe some essential oil might be, you will have to want to sense the oil or some other product of yours, you will have to want to sense that. Okay, for sensing that you require a bio. So that is the analyte. Then comes the bioreceptor, the recognition element which can recognize that sunlight is the bio. Okay, this could be maybe some biological cell itself or enzyme or some other for biomolecules, maybe like a DNA, or it could be some protein or anything like antibodies. I'll tell you more about it later. Then comes the engineering thing, that is, there should be a transducer. That is, from here, bioreceptor, when something changes after binding to unlike, that change has to be, that information has to be processed and given to the electronics, which will be later on. Electronics will come into play, and in electronics, this particular signal which comes from the transducer will be amplified, and there will be a display with a glucose, for example, is present or not present. Okay, these are the different schematically. If I want to show you what are the types, which is a, first is the unlike, what you're actually trying to sense, and the unlike over here I gave you the example of the glucose. And then second one comes the bioreceptor, which discriminates or detects, or you can say that is the one which recognizes. That could be made up of cell itself, the say a microbial cell, or any of the biomolecules, like for example here the protein, enzyme, DNA, or aptamer is a kind of DNA, fragmented DNA, and some nanoparticles also it could be possibly. Okay, of made up of nanoparticles are synthesized from some biomolecules or anything. Okay, then this may transit, like the information, there could be a change. One, say for example, there's the enzyme, and unlike will go and bind to enzyme. So we know enzyme is a protein. So once it binds, the protein will change. The folding will change accordingly, and the protein will catalyze. Enzyme will catalyze a particular reaction, and the catalysis of the reaction may produce some change. For example, it may give a color change, it may give some light or heat or pH change or mass change. Some kind of change will be in these bioreceptors, and the change will be taken by the different, say, pH electrode will detect pH change. Photodiode will check the light, if there is a change in light, or heat by thermistor, and mass change by the quartz electrode, or just kind of transducer element should be there, which can detect the changes in the bioreceptor, like the light or a color or something. Okay, and this change will be taken by the electronics. Okay, the signal, because of the change, will be taken by the electronics, and here analog signal will be converted to digital, because nowadays we have all digital signals only. So it will be changed to digital signal, and this will be displayed over here, either in the standalone device, or you may also use a computer, or nowadays app in the mobile can be used, where you detect that particular change in signal. Okay, there's a biosensor. Also, as summary, it will be having five different components. One is the unlight, two is the bioreceptor, three transducer, four electronics, and five display, or your digital whatever app or anything can be there. First is the bioreceptor should be able to recognize the unlight, change something like the color, heat, or light, or anything, and the transducer will detect these changes. If the presence of sunlight is there, or quantity accordingly is there, similar kind of gradation, if quantity or presence absence will change the light, heat, or color or anything, and that will be taken by the transducer, and that change will be recognized from analog, will convert it from analog to digital, and digital will give you the signals, so that we see apparently to the human eye. So, for example, you all might have seen this in your families or relatives' home or anything. You have this people with diabetes nowadays. They check the sugar at home itself. They prick, blood will ooze out, and the blood, when they keep on a particular what you call that piece of sunlight which is there over there, piece of paper or anything where all this biosensor thing will be. So you just keep it inside and all the process will occur, and with the glucose, how much glucose is present will come over here. Okay. So this is one kind of thing. I'll give you some examples of this application also in the forthcoming slide. And in the biosensor, there are different types of biosensor also. Okay. For example, depending on the biorecognition element that which recognizes the unlight, you have either the antibody. Antibody is something uh, which is your immune system will produce. For example, I'll tell you in detail in forthcoming classes in, I think, fourth module or anything. But briefly to tell you, even now for the COVID, when you take a vaccine, that vaccine will produce some antibodies, and the viruses, the foreign virus is the antigen, and your body's immune system will produce antibody, which is again a protein that comes and binds. So if you want to analyze whether the coronavirus is there in one individual, you can use the antibody, and the antibody, just like how you're doing for diabetes, anyone can test the blood of the patient with the coronavirus is present or absent just by antibody thing. And the previous slide, what I showed, that antibody change, if it binds, it will give a change to a transfusing element, and then electronics display, everything will be there. Okay, that will happen. Or a phage. Phage, I told you in the previous classes, phage, bacteriophage is nothing but which the virus which attacks the bacteria. This kind of phage element can be used, or DNA can be used, or even the enzyme or some other bioinspired product also can be used over here. Okay, like nanomaterials or anything can be used. And depending on the, if you categorize, they can also be used on transducing element, because from here, from the bio element which recognizes some change will be transfused, the signal will be given to a transfusing element, and this may recognize the change either by mass or by electrochemical method. For example, if the antibody binds to the coronavirus, then the voltage difference will be there. That could be the signal. Change of voltage could be the signal. If it doesn't bind, there'll be a different voltage. If it binds, there'll be a different voltage. And or there could be optical biosensor, and mass based, again they could be magnetoelectric or a piezo, means it can just in a very small fraction, the touching and taking away, it can give a different signal. Okay, this kind of transducing element also could be there. And if you want to design a particular biosensor, there should be some characteristics which are very essential. First characteristic is it should be selective. Okay, it should um, say I'll give you a solution of blood. It should be selective for the glucose. If you're detecting a glucose, it cannot bind to even the RBC or WBC or some other molecule in the blood. It should be selective to, even if I give a urine sample or blood sample or some other sample also, only glucose it will be selective to. Okay, that kind of a bioreceptor should I have in the biosensor. That is the way how I design a biosensor. Then once, for example, I have a glucose biosensor, and I'm using it for checking the glucose. So once it nicely does for the glucose, second or third time when I do, it will not sense the glucose, whereas it's sensing some of the products, some of the metabolites which is in the blood.
சதிக்கண்ணா
That that should not happen. Someone is
இவ வந்து ஸ்மெல்
unmuted.
போட்டு
Can mute. Okay, so it should be reproducible. Same kind of values also should be shown by this biosensor. It should not change. Okay, and it should be linear. Linear in the sense, again, linear is the attribute that shows the accuracy. What is the accuracy of that particular thing? Okay, it should be very accurate only to that particular unlight which we are testing. Okay, and it should be very stable. Some say, for example, some enzymes, if you are using, the enzymes may be stable at pH 7, but when you give a pH 4, it will become unstable. Or a temperature, any environmental, because say coronavirus you want to test in the blood, people in tropical climates like ours could be even at 42, 43 degrees centigrade in summers. To if you go to Himalayan kingdom or Ooty here itself, there will be so less temperature. Okay, so even in such kind of very less temperature and very high temperature like Vellore and all, where temperature will be very high, it should be that particular stability of that should be there, or that depends on it. Some will be very stable for a broad range, some will be for a minor range. It all depends on what for we are using it. Okay, and it should be very sensitive. That is very important. For example, if some glucose you are testing, it should be able to test even 4 nanogram per, for example, over here it is given for cancer, even 4 nanogram per ml of PSA, prostate specific antigen, has to be checked there. Then only you can say that individual is having prostate cancer or no. Glucose around 90 to 140, it should be able to test, and even higher also. It should be, the sensitivity should be very less. So once it is very less for that particular condition, so here I'm showing only medical conditions, but there are examples where even for your engineering disciplines also it may apply. Okay, I'll give you later as I go. For example, these are some of the applications which are there of the biosensor. If you want to monitor the water quality, in water, even pesticides will be very, very less amount, and that also it has to be able to, that is called a sensitivity, even a minute amount of concentration, whether it is sensitive, or nitrates. Like in the previous class, we studied about the bio filters, where in the wastewaters we know what all is in what percentages the pollutant at that particular percentages, they will have to be able to test. For example, even the milk in your home, we take a milk, and the milk, whether you want to say you want to find whether it is adulterated. Okay, the milk proteins and adulteration is by say starch. Some people will add a starch in it, so the sensor should be able to sense the starch. Or nowadays, recently, very big thing was about honey. Uh, Honey or some companies are not so very good. So you can test whether real sugar has been mixed in the honey. So you test whether the sugar is in the honey, like this, some food testing, or if the meat or anything is there, if there is contamination of salmonella or some other organism, that can be tested. For example, there was a recent case some 4 or 5 years back in your television channels, when you see something, you will get a advertisement on MDH masala. So in this masala, they export it to US, and by exporting, there should not be the salmonella organism, even very less quantity of salmonella organism also is not to be there in the masala or any food which is exported. But it was the US officials, regulatory body, saw that there was salmonella in it, so they banned MDH masala for some time. So that made the industry to undergo a huge economic loss. So you can make a sensor to test even these kind of organisms. So now, say there is pollution, air pollution, you can test the carbon monoxide levels or the AQI levels or the SO2 levels or any levels, okay, in the atmosphere. So these can be done, and for example, the prosthetic devices, for example, say your pacemakers. Someone is given a pacemaker to know the flow of the BP. So, device nowadays, for example, the particular pacemakers, there is also a chip inserted into it, and with your app, if that is inserted into a heart of the ailing patient, he can just look at the flow of blood and the blood pressure of his heart, whether it is correctly working, pacemaker is working, just by looking at the mobile. There is an app, and there is a, by internet you can actually uh, by network itself you can be able to communicate with the prosthetic device like this. Or it may also help in disease detection, like for example the diabetes patients, you may need to test the glucose levels, or environmental monitoring, just I told, and drug discovery. Some labs will discover drugs whether everything is properly happening. Drug is its intended purpose is getting used, or soil quality, the quality of soil. For example, for agriculture, you may test the soil quality by using a biosensor, so that the fertility of the soil can be monitored. So a lot of applications. Here I'm giving something which is narrowed down to some biotechnological and environmental applications, but it can be also used in application for your discipline. Okay, in your individual discipline also, if something is getting wrong in that, that has to be sensed by biosensor. It can be sensed. Okay, some of the examples here I'll give. So this is again a thought for you, food for thought. Okay, food for thought. With the examples, you can now think of the sensors in your own discipline. Like for example, there is e-nose, electronic nose, or electronic tongue. Electronic nose, for example, for this coronavirus, what we are doing is, if someone is having a fever, we'll keep the device, and if there is heat, by IR radiation will be emitted, and that will be detected. But in some countries which are backward, like some African countries and all, over there, they cannot afford even the device. So what they have done is, they have trained the dog itself to know if some individual is having a coronavirus or anything. So the dog will diagnose by sensing the smell of the individual, and you may be surprised. Individuals with cancer, with tuberculosis, with any kind of infection, we emit a different kinds of odors which we cannot sense, but animals can sense. So, can we also make similar kind of devices So what the animal senses is a biological thing only. So can we make these kind of devices? For example, in my lab itself, I had a collaboration with one of the faculty in Tribally. So Dr. Bosco, I think many of you may know, where we developed, for example, in my lab, I study on the contamination of salmonella on vegetables and fruits. So he made a e-nose which can detect the volatile organic compounds which are released by these organisms. So a microbiologist and a physicist and engineer could collaborate, and we came with this particular device. And in his lab, Bosco Sir's lab, they also developed e-noses to detect milk adulteration, and in milk what all kind of things should be in how much amount. Okay, that I think is used even commercially. Similar way there is eating. Later I'll be telling you in forthcoming class about how the working take place of the nose or of the tongue, everything of the human. Similarly, in biosensor, we can make a eating where you put the device in the liquid itself, and in the liquid, anything like, for example, the eating, best eating is the glucose measurement. You put the electrode, and when glucose is there, there will be a voltage difference, and it will tell you what is happening over there, whether presence and absence, or how much is the quantity of the glucose. Everything will be told by that. Okay, similar kind of other applications are clinical, like the glucose is a very important thing. I told about the applications. Even for example, the application for cancerous things, cancer, if any individual medically, so many different problems can come, like obesity, cancer, and glucose, and now coronavirus or some infection. Everything can be detected by biosensors if it can be developed. Okay, but for that, what all I told, the components, everything has to be developed appropriately. And some industries, you will also have to measure the some industries may have brewery industry. Let's take beer. If it is producing beer, the alcohol percentages, everything has to be appropriated, contrasted by the biosensor. Or say same beer industry, if there is a acid, like acetic acid contamination during fermentation, then the taste will change. The customers will not buy that kind, so it will change. So you can detect by the electronic biosensor whether the acid also, what is the proportion of the acid present or anything. Okay, or you want to test, as I told, in the meat or fish or poultry, what is the amount of pathogens which are contaminating, can also be detected. And the environmental application also, I gave the example of air pollution. Okay, and even water pollution, all these things can be tested. And you can also devise a biosensor, biofilter, so that after sensing, if it comes out of the biofiltration, again you can sense, and you can say whether it has reduced the components of that. Okay, similar way, there are DNA sensors, neurosensors, cell-based sensors, and point-of-care sensors. Like point of care in the sense, you only test yourself, like urine can be tested, blood already we test, even electrolytes, steroids, drugs, hormones, all these things can be tested. Okay, some examples of sensors are for pregnancy test. It's very well, very popular. Like before, if you ask your grandparents or anything, they used to go to doctor if there was pregnancy by the your grandmother or anything. But maybe your parents' age and our age and all now, very easily you can diagnose yourself in the home. How just put a drop of urine over here and it will tell you whether you are positive to pregnancy or no, and then go to a doctor. And same is the case with the glucose also. We can test at home what is the fasting glucose level, and after eating what is the glucose level, and whether it is we have diabetes or no. And if diabetic, then we can go to a doctor instead of first going to doctor and testing. Okay. Same like that. There is a very handheld device now. For example, you just take one little blood and you can analyze all the things in your blood. Okay, blood analyzer is there at home itself. You may analyze, or if it is commercially in the lab, there also it can be analyzed. Moreover, there is also a digital plaster coming up. Like you just put this plaster and it monitors some of the vital signs like the BP and what is the heart rate or anything like this. Everything can be monitored. Okay, and moreover, now you have even a wearable sensor like you wear and in the app. But here I'm telling about some t-shirt, or I think this may not be wearable sensors. You now have a watch itself, and the watch, smart watches nowadays in your mobile, in the app, you can see many of you already might be having this kind of smart devices. For the corona, recently a biosensor was made, which was called Feluda. Feluda by Indian. There is a institute IGIB, which is of CSIR in New Delhi. They had developed this Feluda CRISPR test for COVID-19. It's a simple. You can only buy this, and even recently in Pune also a test was there like this. So you can monitor how you can either take your saliva or any of the blood or something sample from you, and you place over here and it gives a color that indicates whether COVID positive or negative. Nowadays, there are many tests like this, okay, which is available. And in Feluda, why they call Feluda is it's an investigation. There was there are movies. I forgot the director's name in Bengali. Uh, Satyajit Ray. In his movies, the character Feluda is an investigator. So, because it is investigating, they gave Feluda test. And what is CRISPR is it is a novel kind of uh, uh, DNA. Like what happens is, like we have our immune system, bacteria do have their own immune system towards the viruses, and how they do is genetically. Okay, if a new virus is coming and infecting the bacteria, the bacteriophages, then the bacteria will memorize that particular DNA which is given by the virus, and that is through the CRISPR. Okay, CRISPR-Cas system we call, and through the CRISPR-Cas system it will do, and the same thing was used over here and to detect the COVID coronavirus. Okay, so later on you can it was developed such that it can be used by individuals at home itself. Okay, similar way, some very interesting thing which just came up in last year 2020 from abroad, from US it came this paper, but it is the Indians who were involved. One the principal investigator was also Indian. What they did very nicely was by using the DNA, they could sense, like in previous classes, we have discussed about inside the cell how cytoplasm is there and organelles, everything is there. And they have gone to such a kind of level where inside the DNA, the DNA nanosensor can also look at the fluctuation in the voltages of the organelles. So inside, say for example, I want to study the mitochondria, it will go inside the mitochondria, and when inside the organ also there is voltage change, that sensitive change also can be recorded. Like it may give us to a color difference when you see in the microscope, and that kind of voltage difference also will be seen. So nanosensor, this kind of biosensor. So I'm telling you the sophistication of this. So not only inside the cell, inside the organelle inside the cell also can be tested for fluctuations. It can be tested. So you can develop sensors like this for every discipline. Okay. So I'll stop here. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions if anyone has.